Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. We are the UX design people. In this channel, we share tips, inspirations, ideas, concepts, and everything related to UX design. My name is Blessing, your channel host, and today we are going to be talking about dark patterns in UX design. In this video, we are going to delve into the meaning of dark patterns in UX design. We are going to talk about how important it is for you to avoid dark patterns in UX design. We're also going to briefly explain 12 common dark patterns in UX design, especially the ones that you are familiar with. And lastly, we are going to be discussing in detail 7 emotions that can be manipulated by designers and their ethical and unethical applications. Thank you very much for subscribing to my channel, and if you haven't, please do so and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss any of my videos when they drop. If you do enjoy my content, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share my videos to everyone, especially your friends in UX design. Welcome back. Like I said earlier, we are going to be talking about dark patterns in UX. Basically, dark patterns in design or dark UX, deceptive patterns, whatever you may call it, they refer to the practices that we make as designers. They are the things that we do in our designs that force the user to do something that we want them to do, especially something that is not in their best interests. Dark UX also means that when you as a designer try to manipulate users or take advantage of users' usual habits, their known actions, like things that they're already familiar with, things that you know that they are familiar with, and you try to use this to exploit this to make them do what they don't intend to do, especially when it only gives you gain or gives your company gain. Before I even go into the details, you need to know that dark UX is deceptive UX. It is manipulative. It is not ideal. Like, nobody wants to be manipulated. Don't forget that as a designer, you're also a user of other products. You're a user of your design tools and every other software that you use to design. So as a user, you don't want to feel manipulated. You don't want to feel tricked or deceived into taking an action. So first and foremost, is unethical. Nobody should be doing that. You should not try to manipulate people into doing things that they don't want to do. It's purely deceptive. Different studies have been done about dark UX and deceptive patterns, and we've come to even agree that deceptive patterns are present in almost every product that you see. Interestingly, there was this study that was done in 2019, and they found out that deceptive patterns were present in 95% of 240 free trending apps sampled from the Google Play Store. And over half of these apps had an average of 7 deceptive patterns. Can you imagine that? Like that's just a lot. It's just a lot. And to be honest, if you actually take like an introspective look at your own designs, I'm talking to designers now. If you look at what you are doing, what your company is doing, you might not even want to do that. Maybe you're advocating for users, but then your CEO, your line manager, they are telling you do this because you want to like achieve a certain financial goal this year or this quarter. It's something that you don't have control over. Obviously, you have to do what your employer says eventually, or you find another job, right? So deceptive patterns are things that are present in our products and services. You really want to persuade people, right? But are you doing it the right way? That's the question you should ask yourself. Are you doing it the right way? Is this ethical? Is this right? Will this impact our products in the long term? So, yeah. Now, why is it important for you as a designer to avoid these deceptive patterns? Dark patterns are just bad user experience, and then it causes loss of data, loss of privacy. The user loses trust in your brand. It creates ill will. It creates bad intentions. People start to campaign against your product. I don't know if you've seen people saying on social media, oh, boycott this, boycott that, let's cancel this brand, let's cancel that brand. It can happen to your product if you keep on doing dark UX practices or dark designs, deceptive patterns, whatever. It may actually harm your product in the long term. And all this means that it's going to cause your company to lose customers. Now, you don't want to be that designer that they brought into the team and immediately you entered, you started designing with your unethical principles, and then the company starts to lose customers. You don't want to be that person. So if your goal is to add value to your company, then it's very beneficial for you to avoid dark or deceptive patterns in UX design. Let's quickly talk about 12 dark patterns to avoid. We have more than 12, but most websites, most sources, they just say 12. Some say 10, but obviously we have more than 12. But these 12 are like the most common ones that you should be aware of. And you will see that as we progress, as I start explaining them, I'm sure that you would have been in contact or even used some of these dark patterns in your own designs. So let's go. The first one I have here is trick questions. Trick questions are like deceptively worded questions, questions that you intentionally made ambiguous or made deceptive just to trick your users into performing actions that they did not intend to. An example is, let's say you want to cancel a subscription. A user wants to cancel a subscription, right? And you, the designer, when you want to like give the confirmation, like, do you want to cancel your subscription? But you intentionally rewarded it, like, do you want to keep your subscription? And then you put yes as the button. Usually you want to cancel the subscription, but the wording has now been changed to make you keep your subscription. Do you get something like that? It's the user might not actually read the text, it's just the button because it's going to stand out, and that yes to the user might mean that the subscription is actually going to be cancelled, but the text there says, do you want to keep your subscription? Eventually the user doesn't cancel, and then they get billed again for that subscription. They will get frustrated, they'll start calling customer support and the likes. You just don't want that kind of situation. So it's better to just keep it clear. A user that will use your product is actually going to use it. Someone that is interested in your product is going to use it. So you don't need to be deceptive. You don't need to start going around the corners just to make users stay, just to make users use your product. You don't need it. The second one I'm going to talk about is hidden costs. Hidden costs, like the name, costs that are hidden, costs that are not initially disclosed to the user. You want to buy something and then you've seen the price, you want to check out, you now start seeing additional prices. Like an example is when you want to buy a domain. Let's say you go on popular sites like GoDaddy or Google's, Bluehost, just name it. You want to buy the domain and then you've already seen the amount. Okay, this one is $5 or $10. By the time you want to check out, you now start seeing extra charges like, oh, okay, if I want to buy this, that means I have to pay for this and this and that. Eventually, if you are not really ready for that kind of financial commitment, you're just going to drop off and you won't make that purchase. But if you have money, fine, you can go ahead, but you don't want to give users that discouragement, especially when they've done so many steps. They've clicked and then they're about to check out. So it's better for you to just disclose everything like in the beginning. Just tell them this is the amount, then these other charges are going to be added because of this. Just like fully disclose the amounts and let the user make their decision at the very beginning. The third one I have here is privacy zuckering. This one has always existed, but I think the name just came recently because of something that happened with Facebook back then. Basically, the whole thing comes down to Mark Zuckerberg, and I read that something happened that Facebook was collecting people's information, what was it called, deceptively, according to that article. Eventually, the whole case was solved, but then privacy zuckering means that you are tricking users into sharing more personal information than necessary. The next one on my list is friend spam. Friend spam basically means encouraging your users to invite friends, to share something with friends, to just like try to bring friends into the platform and encouraging them by rewards, offers, coupons, and things like that. So a very good example of friend spam is all these apps that will encourage you to to give access to your friend list. Let's say like Telegram. Sometimes Telegram will ask you, give us access to your contacts. And then by the time you do that and you're online, or maybe you join Telegram, something like that, it's just going to alert people, everybody on your contact list, that somebody has joined. That thing can actually be very annoying because sometimes you don't want people to know what you're up to. Somebody signed up to LinkedIn, I think a woman signed up to LinkedIn, and she didn't know that that she unknowingly gave access to her Gmail contact list. So basically, LinkedIn sent an email to everybody that she has sent an email to. via her email. So it was something that she was really pissed about, and I think it landed in a case, a lawsuit or something. But then just imagine things that can actually happen if you do something just to deceive users. Your designs go a long way. So you have to think about that. Like every inch of your design, every pixel goes a long way. That's why you need to be careful when you are designing, because you really don't know the impact, like how big of an impact you are going to be making. Oh, I just checked. It's actually a man. The LinkedIn story happened to a man. His name is Jonathan Shariat. So he explained how LinkedIn tricked him into inviting everyone on his Gmail contact list to join. He wrote a book and he shared his experience in that book. Number 5 is forced continuity. Let's talk about forced continuity. Forced continuity is when you try to make it hard for someone to stop something. You are forcing them to continue. That's essentially what it means. The user wants to cancel a subscription or delete their account, and you place the button somewhere that they just cannot see it. Like, where is the cancel button? Where is it? Where's the delete account button? They can't find it because you intentionally made it hard for them to locate, because you don't want your user data to drop. You don't want the number to decrease. So you intentionally made it smaller. And even when they see the button to really cancel that subscription, you might now be directing them to from a page to another page. The last page, you now say, please contact our customer support team. Like, after so much stress, the user still has to call or send an email directly. One thing, I as a user, I don't want to send emails. I want all the actions that I want to take be in the app. I don't want to contact somebody. I don't want to talk to a human or a robot. I don't want to. But why are we doing that? Is because you want to increase some numbers. You want to increase either the number of users that you have, or the number of people that are paying for something, or the amount, their numbers. So basically, you are trying to boost something, right? Even though you forcefully make them stay in your product or keep using your subscription and things like that, they are going to have like a bad feel about your product, about your brand. Will they recommend people to use your product? I don't think so, because even they themselves, they are trying to get out. They are trying to opt out of your product. So you are saying once people sign up to your product, they can't delete account. They are stuck there. To be honest, I know how many accounts, like I have hundreds of accounts of products that I've just signed up just because I want to test. I'm a UX designer. I want to like have a feel of this product or this platform, and I'm already in. I've seen what I want, and to get out is a problem. I just can't get out. I can't delete my account. I can't do anything. There's no option to do anything. So I'm just stuck in there. And sometimes they still send me emails. Sometimes, most of the email stuff, unsubscribe. I've unsubscribed them or added them to my block list and things like that. So these are just, and in their own database, I'm still a user, but I'm not even active. I'm not doing anything. I'm sure by the time they want to present to their investors, they're going to say, oh, we have this number of users, but are they really active? Are they bringing value to the company? No. What's the point? The next one I have here is misdirection. Misdirection simply means using a different language or a misleading language to distract users or to divert their attention into something else. An example is if you are trying to do something, let's say you are trying to cancel a subscription. I'm going to be using a lot of subscription cancellation examples because I've said it before. I love payments. I love examples like this. They are very relatable and they make users frustrated when they are unable to do it. So bear with me. Now you are trying to cancel a subscription. You click on the cancel button and the website is taking you somewhere else that doesn't have something to do with cancellation, or maybe they are trying to sell the product to you over and over again. Like, can you take me to the cancellation page? Why are you going around in circles? There are websites like that. Like, they literally take you around in circles. You click on cancellation, it takes you to a page where it lists out probably benefits of using the product and things like that. And then they'll say, okay, for more information, click on this. You click on that thing. It just takes you round and round and round. You really cannot cancel. You should try as much as possible not to mislead your users. Make sure that wherever your link says that the user is going, or wherever your button says that the user is going, let it be that that is where they are directed to. Bait and switch. Bait and switch is quite common, especially on Instagram. We call it what you ordered versus what you got. So you see a very appealing product. Oh my God, I love this and all of that. Then you opt in, you sign up, and you get inside the app is something else entirely. Like everywhere is so disorganized. Like, how come you created so beautiful mock-ups and you're selling these mock-ups to users, but by the time they actually get into the app, it's trash? There are some games like that on Instagram. Like, you see these games, VR games, games that you say, oh, I'm probably going to enjoy this. And something I do is I check the comments. Okay, I check the comments. When I check the comments, I see what people have said about it. So you just see that somebody will say, don't download the app. It's entirely different from what they are. Once I see that, I just switch, I swipe, and I'm like, okay, no, you guys can't get me, because I've actually been there many times that I download something and sign up, and then when I get into the app, you actually can't do anything. Some payment platforms will be like, oh, you can buy dollars, you can do this, you can sell crypto on this app. And by the time you download it, you say that you actually can't. You can't, or they put coming soon everywhere. It's just, let's stop doing it. The next one is confirm shaming or guilt shaming, emotional blackmail, whatever you want to call it. But basically, it means that you are using emotions like guilt or shame to pressure them into making some decisions. And it's wrong. You should not use guilt or shame. Users should use your product like genuinely, sincerely. Don't guilt trip users or shame users into using your product. Like, let's say a savings app wants to, like, you don't want to use a savings app, and the button is now like, no, I don't want to save, or no, I'm a reckless spender. It just doesn't make sense. Like, don't use those kind of words that shame users into using your product. Like, another example is all these crowdfunding platforms like GoFundMe and the likes. I'm not saying GoFundMe does this, but just imagine a crowdfunding platform. Let's say you don't want to donate, but the text is now like, oh, that means you don't care about millions of children around the globe. Like, make it make sense. Like, you don't guilt trip me into doing something. Do you understand? So don't guilt trip your users. I hope that's clear enough. The next one is obstruction. Obstruction simply means making it hard for users to complete their desired action. An example I gave earlier is when you're trying to cancel a subscription and you're just making it really hard for them. Users are going to get discouraged. They don't even want to interact with your product anymore, because from point A to point B is already very hard. You can't easily complete an action. Nobody wants that. Next, we have price comparison prevention. And this one basically means that you are not giving users the ability to compare the prices of your product with other products. I've seen some really good websites that will actually disclose competitors' prices, and they'll tell you, oh, ours is $17. Other people are selling it for $15, $18. They will give you different prices, but they will tell you their price and why you should go for them. So if you are intentionally hiding or obscuring competitors' prices on your website or on your product, it's not really good, especially when they need it to make a decision. Next up, we have disguised ads. Disguised ads are simply making an ad. Let's say you want to put an ad at the corner of your website, making it look like organic content. So if you are trying to slot in an ad component into your website, you should actually not make it look like organic content, because if it blends with the website, people are going to click on it, and they don't want to click on an ad. They thought it was organic content. They thought it was some, like a part of the website, and now they've clicked on it. It takes them to the ad page. They don't want to do that, and you, because you want to drive sales, you want to do this, you want to do that, you intentionally made it look like part of the website, look like an organic content, and it's something you should actually avoid. The last one I have here is roach motel. Roach motel means that you are making it very easy for users to sign in, but very hard for them to opt out. It's similar to false continuity, because false continuity, like I said earlier, means that you make sure that users continue using the product, or you make sure that users can't cancel a subscription or return a product. You understand? So Roach Motel is also like that. So you are saying that, okay, you can get in. This one is not even about subscription. It's just about making it very easy for users to come in, to sign up, to onboard. But when they are tired, they don't want it anymore, you make it very hard intentionally for them to opt out. So yeah, these are the 12 dark UX patterns you need to avoid. Now to the bulk of today's content. We have the 7 deadly sins, or they have different names. Some people refer to them as the 7 greatest sins, some call them the deadly sins. But essentially, these are the 7 emotions or the 7 weaknesses of humans. And these weaknesses are the things that designers can tap into. It's not even like they can tap into. We already do that. We already appeal to one or more of these emotions. You know, when people say, oh, you have to appeal to the user's emotions and things like that, what emotions are you talking about? You have the positive ones like joy, nostalgia, and stuff like that. And then you have these ones, these not so positive emotions. And these emotions can actually guide you as a designer. In this episode, we are going to dissect each of these emotions, and we are going to talk about how you as a designer can apply them into your designs. You will see the dark UX patterns that people already use, and you will see the ethical ways that you can appeal to these emotions in your designs. Before I go into these emotions, let me talk about cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance means when a user's behaviors and beliefs do not complement each other. You believe something, but you're acting the other way around. You believe smoking is bad, right? But you keep smoking. There's this internal conflict that is going to keep happening within you, and usually it puts you at that state of cognitive dissonance. So you have to keep fighting. Like that moment where you start is like a dilemma, right? That you have to resolve within yourself. If you keep on smoking, even though you believe that smoking is bad, that means that the value you derive from smoking is obviously more than your belief in the fact that smoking is bad and can harm you in the long term. When you hear cognitive dissonance, you just know that it's like an internal conflict that happens within users when they try to choose between 2 conflicting options. The first emotion we're going to be talking about is pride. Users need to keep their pride intact. When users want to purchase something on your website or subscribe to your platform or something, there's always this internal conflict that they have before doing that. So it's like they weigh the choices that they have. Like I wrote in this small text on my screen, I must have this. Users want to have things, right? As a designer, you should give them reasons to have your product. And that is actually right. It's not wrong for you to give users reasons to have your product. Like showing them testimonials, positive reviews of people that have used your product and things like that. Just showing them, oh, these people have used it, this thing works, so that when they see it, they will be like, oh, yes, I actually want to have this. It like boosts their ego because they want to have that product and they are seeing reasons that justify them having that product. Now let's look at some of the dark, deceptive ways that people have used pride to design for users. The first one here is using fake or misleading social proof, burying negative reviews. Some platforms fabricate testimonials. Some of them don't even have testimonials yet because they are new. But then you already see 17 people have used, but you already see 17 people have tried this product and they've left their reviews. Come on, like all of them with 5 stars. Really, make it make sense. So don't fabricate testimonials. Use authentic testimonials and don't hide negative reviews. Some platforms just bury negative reviews. You go to their website and it's all positive reviews over there. But before you see the negative reviews, you have to scroll and scroll and scroll. And then you see it buried somewhere. So there's really no way you intend to sell a product if all you show is positive reviews from people. It kind of looks fake. Because to be honest, are you saying that 100% of the people that have tried your product genuinely love it? Another thing people do is to hide essential pieces of information like extra costs. I've explained it earlier. Then using fear of missing out. Some people call it FOMO or FOMO. People use this to make users quickly opt in for some sale or some discount, some promotional offers, like 70% off today only. And the user, because the user doesn't want to miss out on it, obviously they will just opt in and put in their card details. Before you know it, they've subscribed. Friend spam. Invite your friends, share this with your friends, just access to your contacts and things like that. Instead of doing this, you can ethically appeal to users' pride by providing reasons for people to use the product, like testimonials, like I said earlier, good product packaging, website design, personalized messaging, gamification, and progress sharing. The next one is sloth. Sloth is something that the Bible even talks about a lot. So many verses in the Bible, and this basically means laziness, feeling lethargic, not wanting to do anything. At the corner of my screen here, you have this I don't care. Like, you just have this I don't care attitude. You don't want to take much action. You expect things to just move easily for you. So that's being slothful. And some common dark UX patterns that we use as designers include hiding some information with low contrast text, like disclaimers. You just write it in very small print, and slothful people are not going to read it. So if you are appealing to people's laziness, then definitely they are not going to read it. The text is tiny, they can't stress themselves, they just believe that everything is good. You put a disclaimer, right? Okay, fine, like let's move on. They are not going to read your privacy policy and things like that. Slothful people are going to like it because they are relaxed. They don't want to lift a finger. So by the time you pre-select something, most times they won't bother changing it to their own preferred option. They just assume that is the best choice for them. They won't lift a finger. They won't even try to read the other options and things like that. So the designer is manipulating them, but they don't know. They think that they are being helped. An example of this is subscribing to a newsletter. Let's say you want to sign up, and then there's this little checkbox under that is already checked, and there's a sign up button under there. As a user, you might not even read it, that this thing is actually checked, subscribe to newsletter. You don't want to subscribe, but you don't even check it because you are lazy, you are slothful. As a designer, you should not take advantage of people's sloth to do some evil things. And these dark or deceptive patterns are the ways that you can take advantage of people's sloth in a bad way. Another one is privacy zockering. I explained it earlier that you try to make users share some personal information that they don't really need to share, but you just in some way make them release those information. The next one I have here is forced action. Forced action simply means making users do something that they really didn't plan to do, just so they can achieve something else. So let's say you downloaded an app, and by the time you download an app, you find out within that app that you have to download another app that makes that app work. I think there was this issue back then with Microsoft that if you download the normal Microsoft app, you have to now download, like, in order to use the Microsoft Word, you now have to download Microsoft Word separately, something like that. I think it applied to mobile phones back then. I'm not really sure. It's just not good enough that you are not telling users beforehand that this app needs another app to work. It's not good enough. The next one is forced continuity. That is, you can't opt out. Now, here are some good ways that you can appeal to people's sloth. Number one is to reduce options. Reducing options for users means that they get to make decisions quickly, and that's an application of Hicks' law. Another ethical application is to allow users finish tasks in the fewest steps possible. You already know that you're appealing to sloth, right? These users are lazy. So you know that they want to finish these tasks in the fewest steps possible. Don't prolong things. Don't make things longer than they should. Another thing to do is to label buttons with clear CTAs. You apply smart defaults like country of residence. Let's say you're applying to a job, you're on a job board, right? And you see the form and things like that. Your country of residence, they want to know where you are currently. And then you just see that it's pre-filled with your country of residence and it's correct. Like, there's this feeling that I get when the form is just showing Nigeria, because I'm in Nigeria. You don't want to scroll through a list of almost 200 countries just to find the one you are looking for. So yeah, it's a very good practice. Then using familiar layouts and design elements. This one is also very straightforward and is according to Jacob's law. It simply means that you make your website look like other websites that they've been, and you make your elements look familiar so that they don't spend so much time trying to learn how this works, learn how that works, just because you made everything different. You reinvented the wheel. You don't need to do that. Just make sure your layouts, your structures, your elements are all familiar. That's that about sloth. Let's go to gluttony. Gluttony means you want it all. Like if you check my screen here, I wrote, I want it all. It means that users, a lot of users have this gluttony that you can actually appeal to. Conspicuous consumption. You buy this, you buy that, you are looking for bargains, you're always looking for sales, you're looking for cheap things and stuff like that. Users do this a lot. They want all the sales. This Black Friday is coming, right? They are going to be everywhere shopping, looking for discounts and things like that. There's this book I'm reading. It's Evil by Design. That's the title. Evil by Design by Chris Nodder. And in his book, he wrote something about gluttony. He said, gluttony is a failure of self-control. Once we have made a small lapse, a larger one becomes easier. The small nibble of chocolate while on a diet doesn't satisfy our craving. Instead, it makes subsequent binging much more likely. Similarly, when companies try to persuade individuals to do something, a small immediate concession can lead to a much larger one later. From here, we can see that gluttony actually starts from the little things. So you can actually provide small things to entice users to your website. And once they give in to those small things that you are giving them, freebies, free samples and things like that, it will be very easy in the future when you ask them to do something large. Ways that designers can deceptively apply gluttony include free trials with hidden costs. Free trials but with credit card information. This one is so common. Like you want to sign up for something, free trial, come and try for 7 days, 14 days, and before you know it, they are asking you to put in your credit. Are you sure it's a free trial when you're asking me to put in my credit card information so that you can bill me at the end of 14 days, or how? I even like some companies that will tell you, okay, we will remind you some days before your trial expires, something like that. That's even good. But there are just some companies that before you know it, your money is gone. It's not good enough. And although it's making money for you, but in the long run, you're going to lose that customer. Immediately something like that happened to me like a month or 2 months ago. I literally canceled the stuff. I removed myself from that platform because I don't want that kind of stuff. Users are going to forget because you are looking for the free stuff, right? You're looking for the free stuff. Once you get the free stuff, you are going to forget. And by the time they remove your money, users will now be displeased. You can't blame them. You can't blame the user. That's why you don't need to deceive them. Just tell them this is free. If you really want to make it free, make it free. But if you don't want to make it free, then let them know that this is not free. It's just like, okay, come and subscribe, but you get the first 14 days free. So they know they are subscribing. It's not free. That's just an example. Another one is forced continuity. I've explained this before. You can't get out of a subscription. Fake urgency, fear of missing out, fake scarcity, fake limited time offers, bait and switch, confirm shaming. Instead of doing all these, the things that you should do as a designer are these ethical applications. You should provide free trials with cancellation reminders. Allow users to work for some reward. So it's not like it's completely free. We're allowing you to work for some reward. Like, okay, if you refer people to our platform and they actually subscribe, then you get discount on your next purchase, something like that. Then disclosing all terms and conditions, providing tutorials that explain how things work, how easy a process is. Then showing actual quantity of products in stock. You're not showing, oh, we have only one item left, when in reality you have like hundreds in your stock. But you want people to quickly buy, these gluttons, you want them to quickly buy your products, right? So you show it to them that you have only one item in stock, and you know that's fake scarcity. So now when you show the actual amount of your products in stock, then it's ethical and people will trust your website more. Leaderboards, badges, gamifications and things like that, they encourage people, they appeal to people's emotion of gluttony. Next up, we have wrath or anger. Anger is a very dark emotion. Basically, anger occurs when an event was caused by something or someone else, while guilt or shame occurs when an event was self-inflicted or was caused by the work of your hands. Fear and anxiety, on the other hand, are caused by something that you don't know. Now, what makes people angry most? I mean, users. What makes users angry the most is when something they are trying to find on a website or in a product is not readily available. You are going to a page and it's showing error 404. You want to book a shipment, you want to send somebody an item, you want to make a purchase, and something is just not available. You want to make a payment and your card keeps getting declined. It frustrates people. And there are ways that you can actually exploit this emotion in good ways and in bad ways. Let's check them out. One very dark UX pattern that people use these days is using jokes to deal with users' anger. Like, really, what's funny? Something bad has happened, the user is displeased, nobody is happy about this, and what the user sees on their screen is oops, and then you put a funny joke. Oh, blah blah blah, it might be us, but it might be you. It's not you, it's us. Like, it's not funny at this point. It's not funny. Don't crack jokes at this point. So I think I read somewhere in that same book, that Evil by Design by Chris Noda, that you can use jokes to prevent people from getting angry. But when people are already angry, then don't use jokes. So when the website is down, or when the web page is down, when your product is malfunctioning right now, don't use jokes at that moment to convey the message. Then, not asking for users' permissions is another thing that can make users angry. You are not even exploiting anger this time, you are causing it. Because why are you sending me plenty notifications and all these emails when I never gave you the permissions to do so? And fear-based marketing is another thing. When you use fear tactics to manipulate users into making impulsive decisions. The next one is negative reinforcement. Negative reinforcement simply means like you want to promote an action, you want to encourage an action, right? By taking away a bad consequence. So it's like you want people to come back to use your app. You want, let's say, Duolingo, right? Duolingo helps you. You have streaks. You keep streaks on Duolingo. You keep Snapchat streaks and Bible app streaks. But when people don't come, let's say within 24 hours, you don't come to use the app, your streak gets broken and you lose everything. You start from scratch. By providing those tricks and things like that, you are reinforcing their behavior that is using your app. And what are you doing to reinforce it or to encourage it? You are preventing a bad occurrence. You understand? You are taking away a bad occurrence. And what is that bad occurrence? Losing their streaks. That's basically how it works. The next one is misdirection. That is when they click on something and then it takes them to another page. Even people that weren't angry before, they're going to start getting angry. It's going to just turn off all their interest in your app. Aggressive persuasion. Aggressive persuasion is very annoying because nobody wants to be forced to do anything. If I'm really interested, I'm going to do it. You don't need to send 10 emails of the same message just to convince me to do something. Then another one is what Duolingo does, like, the whole spamming you and making you really, really want to come back to use the app. So aggressive persuasion is not so good. Nobody wants to just keep receiving notifications like that, like every now and then, come back to the app, you will lose your streak. And it's good to remind people, but when it's aggressive, it just becomes really annoying. Things that you can do instead to appeal to users' anger include error highlighting. This simply means using bold colors or error messages to highlight mistakes, to guide users to correct their inputs. You put a wrong email address format. Let's say you didn't put @gmail.com. It's going to show this red outline and things like that. It depends on the way you design it, but you just see the red thing and you know that something is wrong. That way, somebody knows, the user knows that there's a problem, right? And they have to correct it. So highlighting users' errors is a good way of telling them that something bad has happened. You use clear error messaging, you use clear CTA such as retry. Giving them an option to retry is very important. Then progress indicators. If you check the corner of my screen, you will see I wrote, "I don't like this" in quotes. Anger is something you don't like, and it's because something negative has happened. You don't like what just happened, you don't like what you are doing currently. It's just a negative emotion that you want to get rid of. Progress indicators help to appeal to that person's emotion by giving them like some information about how close they are to the end. So by the time you design something and then you let them know, okay, you're almost there, it kind of, pacifies them a little bit. Okay, they know that they have 4 steps and they are on step number 2. If you're using percentages, make sure that they're not starting from 0% because it looks like they have a long way to go. So that's somewhere, and that is really helps if you just start. Maybe the first step is like 10%. Show personalized error messages. Use transparent, open communication. It's very important for your communication to be open. Allow users to send you feedback. So it's not just you sending them emails all the time. Provide a means for them to respond. Your contact us page should be very, very detailed, and you should have different channels. You should have the social media links, different channels, so that they can send emails, they can contact you via WhatsApp, they can just place a phone call and things like that. Just make it very applicable to different sets of people. Repeated communication ahead of upcoming changes. Yeah, one thing I want us to know is that people don't like change. People hate change, and it's like it brings up that emotion of anger. If you know you want to change something on your website or on your platform, something that people will easily notice, something that disrupts their usual flow, or some changes to your privacy and something. If you want to do a system upgrade, especially for banks and financial institutions, it's good to let them know beforehand. Website is going to be maintained, let them know beforehand. Don't just start upgrading your platform and users come around and they just see, oh my god, I can't access this website, I have a payment to make right now. Users love consistency, they don't like change, they want things to stay the same way. So when you want to change something, it's good for you to communicate it beforehand. That's that about anger. Let's now move to envy. And envy is different from pride, because pride, like I said earlier, is like you want something because you want to fulfill something inside you, cognitive dissonance and things like that, right? So envy is different, because envy is like only I must have this. Pride is like I want it, I want to have it because it fulfills something in me. But envy, it also fulfills something in me, but I want it so that you don't have it. It's not just saying I want what you have. It's also saying that I want what you have so that you don't have it. And there are 2 types of envy. We have the harmless, benign envy, and you have the destructive envy. The harmless envy is like, aspiring to be a footballer, maybe because you saw Mbappe playing and then you're like, oh, I want to be like him. Seeing a celebrity doing something and you're like, okay, I want that. It's like harmless envy. You aspire to become someone because you like something they do or things like that. But destructive envy is the bad one that we're going to be appealing to as designers, right? Destructive envy means that you want to have something that someone has, you want to take it from them, because them having it makes you feel inferior. You don't want to have the same things, you want to be higher all the time. That's envy. Now you need to pay attention. You see that here I listed the ethical applications before the dark patterns. It's because I'm trying to explain some things that will help you understand the dark pattern examples that I listed here. So just bear with me. It's for a reason. So now the ethical applications include social proof, that's reviews, testimonials, and things like that. Then limited time offers, secret sales, wait lists, pre-orders, just trying to be part of something secret, trying to be the first person to know about something. Users love that, especially people with a great deal of envy. They want to always be the first person to know about a product. They want to be the only people to know about something. Then personalized experiences, making them feel special, making them feel important. There's this statement from that book that when you make people feel important, then they will do more for you because they see you as someone that affirms their importance. This is something you need to know, that when you make your users feel important, you are appealing to their emotion of envy because they feel like they are above some other types of people. So that feeling gives some people a great deal of satisfaction, and it's not wrong to use. So when is it wrong to use emotion of envy? Number 1, creating fake reviews or paid endorsements, then false scarcity, social status symbols that enable pitying, bullying, or scorning the other groups. Let's say you are on VIP something, premium something, and you're now what's it called? you start treating the people that are not on VIP, you start treating them less, or you turn it to your social status, and then other people that don't have the status, they can't talk to you, you just like assume that this is now your identity. You should not let your design elements show that they can use it to bully people or things like that, or scorn people. Do you understand? Then fear of missing out is also something that designers use, because they know that people are envious. So you quickly show them, this sale is ending today and it's for only a limited number of people. People that are envious want to get in so that other people don't get in. So that fear of missing out will make them quickly subscribe, quickly put in their credit card details and things like that. It's not really ethical. Then encouraging payment as an alternative to achievement. Yes, this is the exact reason I put it last, because ethical application, you try to give verification badges, right? That's normal. It's okay. When somebody has an achievement, you try to celebrate them by giving them a badge, right? It means that they've worked hard for something. But a dark or deceptive pattern that we use now, especially almost all the social apps, you see that now you pay for verification. It's now people that have worked hard for the verification, or for the people that have really achieved something. They are now on the same level as people that just paid to achieve that verification. So now it's almost even meaningless, like premium accounts. Everybody's paying for it. If you have money, you can always just get the verification badge. The next one I have here is lust. And if you look at my screen, I wrote here, I desperately want this. Lust is like this intense desire for an item, for a product, for a service. You just want this thing. Like, it's irrational. It's like an irrational desire. No logical reasoning. All your logical thoughts have been thrown out, and you start to obsess over that item. Like, you just must have it. You must have it. You are trying to find ways to have it instead of thinking of why you don't need it, or to stop yourself from acquiring it. Let's quickly go into how people have been abusing that emotion in their designs. The first one is creating paid reviews. This one is pretty common. Fake reviews will definitely bring people who are lustful to sign up for something. Then free trials with hidden costs, false scarcity, misleading advertising, fear of missing out, and things like that. Now to the ethical applications, that is things that you can do instead. You have your social proof, personalized experiences, emotional designs. When your design elements appeal to people's emotions of joy, nostalgia, and things like that. You can also use flattery, use nice words, call your users very nice names just to appeal to them. Then giving users labels like being environmentally conscious, then free trials, giving out free samples, then positive reinforcement, verification badges. All these can appeal to people with lust. All these are ethical applications of lust. The last but not the least is greed. Greed is an emotion that people feel when they need everything, like even things that they actually don't need. They feel that they need it, so they tend to accumulate things, they tend to overconsume, they just want everything, like buying everything, especially so that other people don't have it. So it's very similar to envy, but greed just means like having this strong desire to own everything at once. I have here from that same book that because greed prevents other people from having access to something that they could use more than the greedy individual could, is seen as selfish or spiteful. Then the reason it's seen as one of the 7 deadly sins is that greedy people obviously distrust God. They don't trust that God can actually provide all their needs, so they tend to accumulate. It's like, I don't trust God enough, so let me provide for myself. Well, that's that. Let's go into the ways that greed can be applied ethically and unethically. The first one here is free trials with hidden costs. We have false urgency, misleading advertising, fear of missing out, false continuity. Then for the ethical applications, or the things you can do instead, you have gamification, personalized offers, negative reinforcement. I've explained that earlier. Then loyalty programs, in-app purchases, scarcity principle, social proof. So yeah, you can exploit the emotion of greed in designing, and it's up to you to choose whether you are going to apply it ethically or you are going to use it deceptively. Now we've come to the end of this show. Well, it's actually a show considering how long it is. Thank you very much for sticking to the end. You are the real MVP, and I believe that you've now understood what dark patterns are, or dark UX deceptive patterns are, in UX design, you know why it's important to avoid them, you know the impact of these UX patterns on your users. We've also been able to highlight some 12 common dark UX patterns that we see in our everyday designs. And lastly, I've tried to explain in detail 7 important emotions that can be appealed to, or 7 deadly sins, or 7 weaknesses that humans have that can be exploited in our designs. I hope that you've enjoyed this content. If you did, please share to your friends, like, comment, and subscribe. If you have not subscribed, please do so and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of my videos when they drop. If you have questions, comments, feedback, anything, just feel free to use the comment section. And if you don't want to do that, you can send me a direct email by clicking on my profile. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.